What do Linkin Park, Slash, Evanescence, and Stone Temple Pilots all have in common? Artist manager Jordan Berliant of Revelation Management Group. In our continuing series examining the hard rock and metal landscape today, we discuss the ever-evolving role of the artist manager in today's music landscape and the key personal traits besides talent that you need to succeed as an artist, and much, much more coming up. This episode of the MUBUTV Insider video series is brought to you by the Music Business Registry. The Music Business Registry is the leading music industry publisher of the most up-to-date contact information for major and independent record label A&R, music publishers, artist managers, music attorneys, music supervisors, and much, much more. The Music Business Registry is the trusted industry standard and source serving the music business community for over 30 years with the most accurate and up-to-date contact information available. Their titles include the A&R Registry, the Film and Television Music Guide, the Music Publisher Registry, and the Music Attorney Registry. All of their publications are available in PDF, CSV, or online subscription. Visit musicregistry.com and use coupon code MUBUTV10 at checkout. That's musicregistry.com, coupon code MUBUTV10. When you're ready to put your music to work, musicregistry.com. Hi, we're back at the first annual Global Rock Music Summit here in Hollywood, California at the Roosevelt Hotel. And my next guest is a partner of the Collective Group and manager of Linkin Park, Jordan Berliant. Jordan, thank you so much for being here.
Pleasure.
Jordan, my first question, you've been a manager for many, many years now. How have you seen the role of the artist-manager relationship basically evolve in the 21st century?
Yeah, I think that's one of the unique aspects of what I do for a living. As it gets harder and harder for record companies to monetize music, there's less and less resources that are being offered to the artist. So somebody needs to fill in the gap, and that something or somebody is the manager. And so management artist relation has evolved from a person-to-person relationship to a company to artist relationship. And what I mean by that is we invest pretty heavily in overhead in areas that are of specific importance to the artist. So we have staff that handles digital marketing and promotion on board, and staff that handles international, and staff that handles promotion, staff that handles tour marketing, and all of these specific areas where there used to be service from other partners of the artist, namely the label, that really don't exist to the extent that they used to.
Right. For a serious artist looking to have a career in music, at what point do you think that they need a manager?
When there's something to manage. Because the days where a heavyweight manager can go break an artist on their own just because they're a heavyweight are long past us. The power has really shifted from the industry to the fan. It's a much more democratic process now, and the fan is really the entity that determines the future for an artist. And smart artists will focus on that and start putting out content and work to engage their fans at an early stage in their career. And that process does require management and skill.
Besides the music, which is an obvious thing, of course, it goes hand in hand, what are the key personal traits that you think or that you look for when you're thinking about considering managing artists?
Well, one of the things I look for is an artist that understands what business they're in. They're really in the fan aggregation business, more than anything. And so artists that are active in reaching out to their audience, particularly through social media, but other platforms as well, it's definitely a trait that I look for. Artists that are self-contained in terms of being able to write and make their own music is a very attractive quality to me, because it makes them self-reliant and can move, particularly at an early age, more quickly through self-reliance than any other means.
Great. Can you talk to us about, what are the specific actions that artists or bands that who do not have management, obviously currently now, can be taking in the early stages of their career now? Can you talk about that? What are some of the things that they can be involved with or proactive?
Aggregate your audience online. Put out content that makes your audience engage with you, but also inspires them to share what you do with others. Put out content that inspires them to become your marketing and sales force, your mouthpiece. Be mindful of creating platforms for your audience to recruit other fans and engage with other fans. Forums, for example. And stimulate them to the degree that they want to do that. Create a YouTube channel and really work it. Be active on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and other platforms.
Okay. And that kind of leads me to my next question. Obviously today, so much more is expected of an artist. It's not just about making the music anymore. You got a blog now, you got a tweet, you got to, get on your Facebook. And I'm wondering, given that there's so much more access that the bands have or that the fans now have to the bands, how has that affected the access that you think that has affected the artist-fan relationship? Has that changed that relationship? And what I mean by it, I'll give you an example. You have a band like Tool and a band like Linkin Park. Tool has got this mystique about them. They don't do interviews. They basically put out their records, run their cycle, and go. And then you have a band on the other extreme like Linkin Park that I know is really, really active on social media. They really engage their audience. Not to say that Tool doesn't do it, but they just do it in a different way.
Right.
How do you think that
Well, I think it's evolved from a one direction or one-way communication to a two-way communication. What I mean by that is one of the great things about Linkin Park is that they've been very consistent about offering opportunities for their audience to collaborate with them creatively. So a couple of examples. We just released a video for the song Guilty All the Same through a brand new, very disruptive technology from Microsoft called Spark. It's actually created as a way of offering gamers the ability to customize a game and change the qualities of the game, from the mission of the game to the characters to the environment. And to help them launch this technology, we created the first ever truly interactive video using Microsoft Spark. And when we put out the video, we published it with a toolkit that allowed somebody to put any number of different game engines into it. So they could turn it into a game. They could change the characters. They could change the environment. So rather than changing it pixel by pixel and color by color, think about it in terms of changing the objects in the environment or the motion.
or the landscape, the entire landscape?
Absolutely.
So it totally immerses them.
It becomes a very immersive thing. It becomes a very immersive relationship. And that is by no means the first time we've ever done it. We put out the song "The Catalyst," which is the first single on the 2 or 3 albums ago on 1,000 Suns.
Right.
Before we even released that single, we put out stems from that song and invited people to create a song from the stems without ever hearing Linkin Park's version of the song. And we chose a winner, and that became the official B-side for the single. We've offered our fans opportunities to create merch that we've then deployed on tour, to create tour posters that we've used to promote the tour. So the biggest change I see in the artist-fan relationship, particularly with Linkin Park, is the opportunity to make it a two-way dialogue, a two-way communication, and a creative collaboration. Yeah. And when you do that, as you noted, you create a very immersive environment for the fans and the artists.
Yeah, which is incredible.
One of the things that we did last year, which we just released a little video of on the band's website, was we offered the fans an opportunity to enter a contest, and we chose a band to actually go in the studio with and record a song with. We produced the song, the band produced the song and performed on the song. And it's a really, really, I think, next level exercise that we documented. It's definitely worth taking a look at. So check out that video.
I believe they've been the leaders in that because they really have, and that's why I brought the tool Linkin Park dichotomy, because you have one band that has this mystique and they have this massive following, and Linkin Park does too, but they really interact with their audience and engage. So I think that's a great.
I love Mystique. I was attracted initially to artists when I was a kid growing up to Mystique, but that word has taken on a different meaning in an always-on internet environment where everybody seems to know anything or everything about anything at a moment's notice. So is the object or the objective of generating a mystique that used to happen by withholding information.
Right.
Now I believe that the mystique is generated by supplying information, but very specific and consistently aesthetic information.
So Jordan, that leads me to my next question with the relationship with the fan and artist that you talked about earlier, with their relationship with this new software with Spark and Microsoft. I'm wondering, how challenging is it for a band like Linkin Park, which is known around the world, when they're coming out with a new album? How challenging is it for you guys to come up with new and inventive ways to kind of get out not only to your core audience, but trying to build that audience in this day and age where there's much more, or there's less and less outlets in rock music? As you know, radio stations are changing formats left and right. So how do you guys meet those challenges?
Well, unfortunately, we tend to meet them on our own between us and the band. We happen to have with Linkin Park guys that are very focused on doing just as you described, finding new and interesting and innovative ways to get the music across. Not for the sake of doing something new, but for the sake of progressing the relationship between the band and their fan base, and also progressing the art of what they've done, and something that mirrors aesthetically what they're going for. And so we spend an awful lot of time pursuing partnerships in the technology sector, and in some cases in the brand world with the appropriate brands. For example, Linkin Park will shortly be announcing something very unique and innovative with a big audio brand. And we've done collaborations with everybody from Dell Computers, who have helped us create next level videos, to Porsche Design. We just announced a collaboration with Chester. So we look for opportunities to collaborate with people that can help extend the reach of the band, but things that are consistent with the lifestyle of the fans. And that's really, sort of the intersection we look to exist in.
Yeah, and that leads me to my next question. You're talking about these relationships that you're setting up with different sectors, technology, or whatever it happens to be, different artists, like what they did with Jay-Z years ago. Can you talk about what a typical day is like for you when the band is, ready to release a brand new album? You talk about these relationships with these companies. How long does that take to set up?
Well, I literally just got back from a trip around the world. Was in 7 cities on 4 different continents in 2 weeks.
Wow.
Meeting with not only the record companies, but the concert promoters, and in some cases our partners in those regions, some of the partners I mentioned to you. And the burden for us as management is to coordinate all of that. Linkin Park is a unique artist in that they're big everywhere. Right? Tour on every continent. They're meaningful on every continent. We have large fan bases on every continent. And the fan bases all behave differently. And so one of the things we do to try to understand what the best path is to those fans is we do research with the fans. We every year put out a rather elaborate series of questions to the fans, and we parse that data and we look at that information, and not only does it help provide guidance as to the things that will work, but it also helps create a platform for us to be able to present to potential partners, so that they have an understanding of the fan base. I mean, as you noted, Linkin Park is the biggest band on social media. There's well over 1 billion views on YouTube, have over 60 million followers on Facebook. And so they're almost a channel to these fans. And when we can have an enhanced understanding of these fans, whether they're in Germany or India or Russia or China, it helps us explain to potential partners the value of Linkin Park as the gateway to these fans.
Yeah, I believe so. I think they're like the poster boys or the blueprint of what social media, because they really have embraced that and have taken it to the next level. I think they're on the forefront. They're trailblazers, I believe.
Yeah, but it's not just a matter of aggregating the quantity of fans. It's a matter of also understanding who these people are, how they differ from country to country, and also what their lifestyles are about and how Linkin Park fits into their lifestyle, which allows us to come up with opportunities for that two-way engagement that I spoke about.
Right. How important, and obviously it's critically important for a band like Linkin Park or any band for that matter, how important are the international markets today in breaking a new band, especially in the rock genre?
In my view, they're crucial, and it's not easy to do. A lot of bands make the mistake of disregarding international markets earlier in their career, and it becomes impossible to set it up later in their career. So whether it's Linkin Park or Black Rebel Motorcycle Club or Slash, 3 completely different rock artists that we work with, the thing they share in common is that they've all spent considerable time and effort in touring and promoting internationally early in their career, so that they can help create a worldwide platform for themselves.
So what did you think? Some really valuable insights from Jordan on the subject of artist management from one of the leading management companies in the business. So insiders, here's the question of the day. What really stood out to you in the conversation with Jordan? Was it his views on how the artist-fan relationship has evolved in the 21st century? Or was it the challenge of marketing bands beyond their core fan base? Or was it the importance of breaking into international markets? Or was it something else that connected with you? We'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Thanks as always for watching this video. Please make sure to subscribe to MUBUTV for more information on how to educate, empower, and engage your music career. In addition, we recently put together a free guide on the most important factors to look for when seeking out a manager for your music career. This is one of the most critical choices that you will make in building your team. So if you're interested in receiving it, we've included a link to that in the description below. It's totally free and goes through the top do's and don'ts before you even think about reaching out to a manager, such as, where am I in my music career? How much of an audience have I built out on my own? Does the manager understand how the music business works and functions today? Do they have established relationships within the music industry? And if not, are they committed to building the necessary relationships needed for your career? This guide will provide you with some of the most crucial questions and other factors you need to be aware of and asking yourself when making a decision regarding this important aspect of building your team. So if you're interested in receiving that, we'll link to it in the description below. You can also check out a summary of this episode and everything we talked about in the YouTube description as well. And if you enjoyed this video, we'd really love it if you hit the like button and let us know what other kinds of videos and types of content you would want to see on our channel. Hit us up in the comments below, and we'll see you in the next video.